Hello and welcome to the channel. Welcome here in Umoja. My name is Dennis Uhuru. As the title of the video claims, the Mara Nomads are taking me to court a second time. So this is a second case. So let's talk about that for a bit. The first case is based upon my video, Who Moved My Cheese? The video Who Moved My Cheese was published on my YouTube channel about 2 weeks ago. And in that video, I talked about some injustices that I felt had been perpetrated against me by my former clients, the Mara Nomads, who have worked as a video editor from October of 2021, when they had 107 subscribers, to date, when now they have about 40,000 subscribers. And I just outlined how our working relationship and the payment structure that we worked with and how we came to a disagreement at some point. And I talked about that in that video. You can go watch that video. And so when that video went out, you guys watched it, and you guys know what happened. The Mara Nomads took me to court because of that video. So that first case is a defamation case. So the case is that I defamed the Mara Nomads, and that because of that video, they've lost their standing in the community, and it has led to a loss of business. That is the case, and that case is slated for hearing in the Chief Magistrate's Court at Milimani Law Courts on 5th of November 2024. In that first case, as applies to cases of defamation, the Mara Nomads are of course asking the court to grant them damages so that I pay damages to them. And in the pleadings that I was served, they've not outlined the amount of damages that they want. I'm thinking that is because there is in the pleadings a plea or a request to the judge to place an injunction on me against speaking about ongoing matters once the trial starts. And once that injunction has been placed against me, then the Mara Nomads will in court say how much money they want in damages. At that point, I will not be able to reveal that information. So right now, they've just said they want damages. They want general damages, they want egregious damages, they want exemplary damages, they want the cost of the suit, and any other interests that may be granted to them by the court. So that is in the first matter. Let us talk about the second case. Let me give you guys a bit of background so that we are on the same page. I told you in my previous video that I've engaged a lawyer to represent me in that matter, that first case. And when you engage a lawyer, there is something called the Memorandum of Appearance. So basically what the Memorandum of Appearance is a document that is put in place by your lawyer, and that document is served to the people who have sued you. So in that first matter, I am the defendant. There's an individual and the Mara Nomads versus Dennis Uhuru. So those two guys are the plaintiffs and I'm the defendant. So the Memorandum of Appearance is a document by my lawyer, and that document is served to the plaintiffs, the Mara Nomads and that individual in this case. And what that document puts in place is a way for both parties to communicate. So all communication are supposed to go through that channel, all right? Because these guys are lawyers and I'm not well versed in the law, they're not supposed to communicate to me because I may incriminate myself. So what they're supposed to do is, if they have any information, if they want to reach out to me, if they want to say anything, to engage, to talk, they are supposed to send that information to my lawyer. And that way, my lawyer reaches out to me and tells me, these guys are saying this and this, they want to talk about this and this. And then in that way, I don't incriminate myself. So that is what the Memorandum of Appearance does. So up to that point, I knew that there would be no further communication coming to me from the Mara Nomads or from anyone working from the Mara Nomads directly. All information, all correspondence would go to my lawyer, and then my lawyer representing me in this matter would reach out to me. On 29th, I published a video on my channel called Coping in Nairobi at 1 p.m. At about 1:30 p.m., I received documents in my WhatsApp from someone at the Mara Nomads. And I was surprised because I was like, I thought there was a memorandum of appearance in place. So I called the lawyer who is representing me in that matter, and I asked him, have you served these guys with the memorandum of appearance? And he told me, yes, I have done that. And I asked him, but they've sent me some documents. I thought that correspondence should come to you first. And he said, yes, I served them the memorandum of appearance, just forward to me those documents and we can have a look at them. And so I did that. I forwarded those documents, and as I was forwarding them to the lawyer that is representing me, I also had a look at them, and I realized that they are another case. It's a new case. So because it's a new case, they don't have to send correspondence to my lawyer, because as you understand it, the lawyer representing me is representing me in that first matter, right? So if a new case is put in place, they can send me documents. They don't have to go through the memorandum of appearance. So on 29th of October 2024, the Mara Nomads have filed a second case against me. What is this second case about? Let us look at that. I'll be showing you the major parts of the case. But in brief, what the second case is about is the Mara Nomads want me to refund them all AdSense monies that I have been chewing from the Mara Nomads YouTube channel from March of 2024 to October. And they are saying that that money, that AdSense money that has been coming to me, was meant for a company laptop. Alright? So they want me to give them back that money. This matter has been filed in the small claims court. So what I want to do at this point is just take you through the documents. You will understand them very well. The notice of mention, just showing that this case has been filed. In the small claims court, court name Milimani Commercial, case number that, parties Mara Nomads Limited, first claimant, versus Dennis Uhuru, first respondent. Kindly note that this matter was filed on 29th October 2024 at 1:28 p.m. and you are required to file a response to the statement of claim within 15 days after being served with the accompanying claim. Mention is slated for 15th November 2024 before judge, there's a judge there, at 9 a.m. to confirm service upon you. Kindly note that this notice should be served together with the statement of claim signed by a judge. And then the statement of claim now. The claimant brings this claim against the respondent seeking the reimbursement of funds received by the respondent through the claimant's YouTube channel AdSense earnings. These funds, totaling USD 1,453, Kenyan shillings 187,505, were collected from March 2024 to October 2024 and were intended solely for the acquisition of a company laptop designated for editing the claimant's videos. Really? Briefly explain the circumstances under which the claim arose and attach documents in support of your claim. The claimant, the Mara Nomads, hired the respondent on or about October 2021 to provide freelance video editing services for its YouTube channel, the Mara Nomads. Both parties agreed upon an initial compensation rate of 150 shillings per minute of edited content, with the understanding that the respondent was contracted strictly as an independent service provider. The claimant ensured timely payments for every completed video project, consistently fulfilling its financial obligations from October 2021 to September 2024. To enhance video editing workflow and quality, the claimant decided to purchase a powerful laptop computer, which the respondent will use to prepare higher quality videos for the claimant, since the respondent's current laptop computer was unable to process higher quality videos. Further, The claimant made the decision to use revenues generated from its YouTube channel, the Mara Nomads. However, to be able to use the revenues from its YouTube channel, the claimant needed a separate AdSense account in order to obtain the revenue. An account it needed to set up first with YouTube. This is standard for a content creator such as the claimant to be able to harness revenue from its own YouTube channel. Explain about AdSense right there. Number 4. Since the claimant, the Mara Nomads, did not have an AdSense account, the respondent offered his own AdSense account to be put on the YouTube channel so as to harness the revenue as the claimant proceeded to set up its own AdSense account. Really? The claimant and the respondent mutually agreed to temporarily route YouTube AdSense earnings through the respondent's AdSense account for the respondent to hold the revenue in trust for the claimant until it's sufficient to purchase the laptop. How much was the laptop? The laptop to be purchased was to remain the claimant's company property, and the AdSense earnings generated from the claimant's YouTube channel were to remain the property of the claimant. The respondent has retained a total of USD 1453, 187,505. I'm not even sure that's the amount of money. As at today's exchange rate, accumulated from March 2024 to October 2024, which he was to hold in trust for the claimant. The respondent's account was intended solely as a temporary measure to manage YouTube earnings of the claimant. Once the claimant completed setting up its own AdSense account, they set it up from March to October. How many months are those? How long does it take to set up an AdSense? Okay? Once the claimant completed setting up its own AdSense account, it was linked to the claimant's YouTube channel, effectively ending the provisional arrangement with the respondent's account. The respondent, Lady Sohuru, has failed to provide the claimant with any account or detailed record of the funds received under this temporary AdSense arrangement, despite their clear understanding. The respondent has neither transferred the funds to the claimant for the laptop purchase nor provided any evidence of spending these funds in alignment with the parties' agreement. The claimant therefore claims against the respondent the refund of the sum of 187,505, together with the interest thereon from the date of filing this suit until payment in full. Despite demand being made and notice of intention to sue being given, I don't know where these were made or these intentions were given, the respondent has refused and or neglected to admit liability and refund the sum. Reasons wherefore. The claimant pray for judgment against the respondent for an order compelling the respondent to pay that amount of money for the funds collected from the claimant's YouTube AdSense revenue between March and October 2024, which the respondent has withheld and failed to account for. B. Costs of this suit. C. Interests on and above at court rates from date of filing suit until payment in full. Such other relief as this honorable court may deem fit to grant. And then the most interesting part. I declare that the information given above is true. I've been working for you, you've been paying me salaries, and you want me to refund you the salary. For work done. You want me to, so that the work now is done free of charge? Is that what you're saying? Or what are you saying? Now you're taking that and saying that the money was meant for a company laptop and we had a clear agreement in place and you took 6 months to set up your AdSense account. 6, March to October, how many months are those? I don't even know. And so they want me to refund these monies. I read that document and I didn't even know what to say. You know, sometimes when you are doing a wrong and you don't know that you're doing a wrong, God may still punish you for the wrong, but at least He'll have mercy, because at least you can say you do not know what you're doing. But when you're committing a wrong and you know you are doing it and you are lying openly, for that, my friend, for that. Alright, so this case is slated for hearing on 15th of November. So I'm in court on 5th Then I'm in court on 15th to refund AdSense monies. How do you wake up in the morning, shower, put on very nice clothes, look at yourself in the mirror, and go out feeling like you are a man, feeling like you are contributing positively to the society? How can you look at yourself in the mirror and feel good within yourself? Is that even possible? So this gentleman is a lawyer and is agreed to represent me in both the first matter, call it the defamation case, and he has also agreed to represent me in the second matter, the case where the Mara Nomads want me to refund the AdSense monies, which have always been my salary, my compensation, and which I volunteered to buy a laptop to ease my work and to also help the Mara Nomads YouTube channel. And because I sent a message to that gentleman saying that these funds will go to us buying a laptop, he was going to use that now to say that these funds were meant for a company laptop all along. Twisting my words. You see, you cannot twist the truth. The truth will not be twisted. I was talking about my lawyer. So, and he has given me permission to reveal his identity, but he has not given me permission to reveal our agreement or our arrangement. So, he is a gentleman that works in a law firm called JGS. His name is Majimbo Georgiadis, and he's a partner at this law firm, Javier Georgiadis and Sylvester Law LLP. This law firm is in Hurlingham, Nyaku House, first floor, suite 18. That's his number right there. His understanding of the law is very good. If you have any legal matters that you wish to address, take your business to Javier Georgiadis and Sylvester Law LLP in Hurlingham. I went there yesterday and I met all three partners and I spoke to them. They are good guys. It is a full-fledged law firm, and so I'm sure you will find that legal advice or that legal recourse that you're looking for. Mr. Majimbo Georgiadis is representing me in this matter. Pray for him. Send him your good wishes. He's a soldier in this battle. That he will be blessed, that he will be astute, that he will be a man for whom the path will clear. He will be a man who will set things right. There was a man, a powerful man in society, and he was driving along a highway with his escorts and everything. He had outriders and police escorts and everything, and he was riding along a highway. And as he was riding, an ambulance was coming from behind him, and the ambulance was coming at a high speed. But as the ambulance neared this powerful gentleman, it had to slow down. Okay? And it slowed down. And the driver of the ambulance put the siren on the top. And the siren started going off. And the siren started going off. And the ambulance guy kept hooting on his steering wheel, asking this powerful gentleman and his outriders to part so that the ambulance could proceed to wherever it is it was going. But this powerful man in his limousine refused to give way. Yeah? He was like, what can the driver of the ambulance do? I have my people in government. I have my people in powerful places. This ambulance guy cannot force me to give him way. The powerful man in his limousine refused to budge. He told his outriders, do not give way to this ambulance. At some point, when the road enlarged, when more lanes were available, the ambulance driver overtook and sped off. And the powerful man remained laughing in his limousine. And so he told his driver to take him home, and they went home at a sedate pace, with this powerful man just enjoying himself in the back seat of the limousine, drinking some expensive wine, having a good time. And when he got to his home, he noticed something. The ambulance that he was blocking on the highway was parked in front of his gate. So he jumped off and ran to the ambulance to find out what was going on. And he was told that his child had died because the ambulance had not gotten to his home in good time. The ambulance had been delayed on the highway. What is the moral of this story? Whenever you think that you will use systems to your advantage because you have leverage of those systems, remember, you may need those same systems to help you at a dire point in the future. And when you need those systems to help you, the same systems that you took advantage of will bite you. You will have contributed to the defilement of the system. There was a king who loved clothes, and it was known in his kingdom that he loved clothes. And it was celebrated far and wide. And every time this king got new clothes, he would step out of his palace and strut around so that his subjects could look at him and admire these beautiful clothes he was putting on. So one time, two people came to the king's palace, and they said they were famous tailors. And they told the king, "We are here to make for you an attire, a garment that only foolish people cannot see." And the king said, "Well, that's a marvelous idea. I'd love to have a cloth like that in my collection. If I put on this cloth, it will help me to know the foolish people around me. I will know the foolish people among my subjects. I will know the fools among my advisors." And so the king contracted these tailors to make for him these beautiful clothes that fools cannot see. And the tailors began this project. So one time the king came to inspect the progress of this garment. And he found these two tailors at work, very busy on the looms. But the king could not see any cloth that was being made, because there was no cloth. But remember what the king had been told. The king had been told that this garment can be seen by everyone except fools. And so the king, not wanting to be seen as a fool, pretended that he could see what these tailors were making. And so he said, "You guys are making a beautiful cloth. I can't wait for you guys to finish this project." Remember, there's no cloth these guys are making, but the king doesn't want to be seen as a fool. So these guys laughed and said, "Thank you for the compliment, Your Royal Highness. Once it is done, we will call you to come and inspect it." So the king went back to the palace. And after some time, he sent his advisors to go and inspect the progress of this beautiful cloth that was being made. And when they got to the tailor's workshop, none of them could see anything that was being made. But none of them wanted to be seen as fools. So all of them acknowledged that something was being made, and they said, "This is a beautiful cloth. We've never seen a cloth like this." And they congratulated each other and patted each other on the back. But none of them could see anything. And so they went back to the king and made up stories and told him, "We love that garment that is being designed. It is a beautiful garment. We can't wait for those guys to finish it so that you can try it on." More time passed, and eventually the tailors said, "We are done." So the king came, and the tailors told him to take off his clothes so that he could try on these beautiful clothes they had made for him. And the king did that, and his advisors were around. And the tailors put on the king this garment they'd made that only fools cannot see. The king asked for a mirror to be brought so that he could look at himself, and a mirror was brought, and the king looked at himself, and there was nothing he was putting on. But because he didn't want to be seen as a fool, he said, "This is the best cloth in my closet." And his advisors agreed that this is beautiful. We've never seen a garment like this. And so the king paid the tailors, and the tailors went. And the king, according to custom, had to walk out among his subjects so that they could admire this beautiful addition to his closet. So the king set off, and his subjects, the citizens of the land, were paraded on the streets, waiting to see the king's new cloth. And the king came out, naked, with no cloth, But all his subjects were too afraid to tell him that he was naked. Also, his subjects had heard the story that the king's new clothes could be seen by everyone except fools. And so no one wanted to admit he was a fool. So everyone kept silent. And the king strutted along the streets, his head held high, proud in his achievement, until a young boy who had no pretensions, because pretensions destroy men, and the higher a man is, the more pretensions he must have. And some men are so high that even when they pollute the air, they believe it smells good, and no one can tell them. So this boy had none of that. And so what the boy did, he stepped forward confidently and said what everyone could see. He said, "But the king is naked." The king is naked. And before I tell you this story, and the reason I'm saying this story, I had somebody who I considered a friend. We went to the same school. We were doing not the same thing, but related. And we had taken on a beautiful project. I thought that at one point we would sit back as grown men and we would look back at what we had built, and we'd be proud. We'd be very happy with our achievement. But I've since come to learn that this gentleman is not my friend, nor does he consider me as such. And therefore that leads to the story of Malcolm X, the house Negro. During slavery times in the United States, there used to be two types of slaves. There was the house Negro and the field Negro. The field Negro used to work in the fields, picking cotton, doing all other kinds of menial jobs. The house Negro, on the other hand, lived in the house with master. The house Negro, he ate good because he ate master's food. He dressed very well. He lived in the attic or the basement of the master's house. And the house Negro loved the master more than he loved himself. And if the master said, "We've got a good house here," the house Negro would say, "Yes, we've got a good house here." When the master said "we," the house Negro said "we." If the master was sick, the house Negro said "we are sick." If the master's house was on fire, the house Negro would try to put out the fire with more effort than the master himself. The house Negro identified himself with the master more than the master identified with himself. And if you say to the house Negro, "Let us escape, let us separate," the house Negro would say, man, you're crazy. Where else are we going to find a house like this? Where else will we dress like this? Where else will we eat good food like in master's house? That was the house Negro. And the house Negro, in fact, was used by the master to put their field Negroes in their place. And the house Negro thought that since he was loyal to master, master would be loyal to him. And the house Negro thought that he had no life apart from the life the master had given him. But that is the house Negro. And no one can tell the house Negro nothing, because he believes in the rights and the life set forth to him by the master. And he knows no independence. And he has no mind of his own apart from that which the master says. That is the house Negro. This is what happens with lies. It corrodes from the inside. And it builds slowly. This erosion of the morals, this erosion of dignity, this erosion of self-worth. And so you keep telling these lies. And at first it feels good. And you feel powerful. But this is what happens with lies. They corrode slowly, slowly. And at one point, you wake up and you're dressed very well. No one has ever been dressed as well as you are dressed. And from the outside, men respect you. But you see, you cannot lie to yourself, and you cannot lie to God. And so this erosion happens, and you find out that even though you stand with your back straight, you're bent inside, and you have no feeling of self-worth at all. You cannot lie to yourself, and you cannot lie to God. And when you've lied enough, food stops being delicious, and it starts tasting like sand in your mouth. When you've lied enough, you cannot sleep at night, because it has eroded your ability to sleep. When you lie enough, you cannot communicate properly, because the truth is God, and God is the spoken word. And when you lie enough, then words will not give themselves to you. And when you've lied enough, you will get to a point and you will know that you've lied enough. And so your life becomes a life of lies. And it is a twisted and dark path, full of thorns. And the lies stop serving you when they've eroded you enough. And then you are all alone. And then you realize that the lies were not worth it. I had bought a suit. And that suit, I thought that I would wear it on 5th and maybe put it away for some time. But it seems that I'm going to wear that suit 2 times. I'll wear that suit on 5th for the first case and on 15th for the second case. That is the development. That is what is going on. That has been that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for hanging out with me. As always, I'll be seeing you on the next.